Today's story is one that has sparked heated debate across South Africa. The ANC Manifesto promised millions of South Africans jobs, safety, reliable electricity, better healthcare, quality education, and economic growth. But now, many South Africans are asking one important question. Where are those promises? Critics say President Cyril Ramaphosa has failed to deliver on many commitments made to voters. Today, we'll compare the ANC's promises with the reality many citizens say they're experiencing. Stay until the end, because we'll also look at what government says has been achieved. The manifesto focused on improving the lives of ordinary South Africans. The ANC argued that economic reforms would create jobs and reduce poverty. But many communities say daily life still feels difficult. Many young South Africans continue searching for work. Communities say unemployment remains one of the country's biggest challenges. Critics argue that many graduates still struggle to find employment. Government says employment programs and investment initiatives have created opportunities. But critics say progress is too slow. The people are saying the president only knows how the clock is and also used taxpayers' money to repatriate illegal foreigners in South Africa. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Let's hear from the people of South Africa.
Out there, why? Especially after 30 years in some municipalities or 25 years in some. Why should people be giving you another chance when there have been so many service delivery?
We have experience, we are action oriented, we admit to our mistakes, we are fixing them as we speak, and some of them have been dire and costly, and some of those mistakes and weaknesses have been corrected. We've got a plan that is not based on fiction, but on reality. That you talk about water, you talk about electricity, you talk about fixing potholes, you talk about fixing, budgets and so on, building more houses for our people and creating good infrastructure for shelter, and at the same time dealing with the whole question of a new urban settlement, the expansion of urbanization, many people coming into the cities and upgrading informal settlements. So those are the things that are not just thumbs-up. We believe that they are doable. We are doing them even in constraints of the coalition government.
In saying that this venue was premeditated, and in fact it was cogently thought through by the leadership of the ANC. They couldn't go to areas where they know that services have not been delivered, so they went to a place where there is semblance of hope that people might be happy about the provision of houses and other forms of infrastructure. So then they wanted basically to send a message that as much as the party has faced some challenges, but there is something positive that they can report on, which is what was contained basically in the president's opening statement, saying that as a party, we know that there are many successes that we've made, but we are also acutely aware that there are areas where we've failed. That was the first time that I had some honesty from the president. Of course, whether that will amount to any action, that is something that we can talk about at a later stage. But in terms of looking at the situation, choosing the venue, looking at how they performed, I think that they did their homework in that regard.
Well, let's juxtapose then, because just before I came to you, you heard two ladies, elderly people, coming out of Soweto, and you cannot separate the struggle of this country from the people of Soweto. It's almost as if the two go together. They are clear that we're not sure where the ANC is taking us, and therefore we have since lost faith in this party. How many of those throughout the country feel that way?
If you were to ask people from Ngwavuma, where I come from, they would agree with the two ladies that you just spoke to before we went on there. Basically, we have chosen Dam, which has a lot of water, which goes all the way to Eswatini. But they go to an extent of opening 5 entrances to lead water to the Indian Ocean when people locally don't have water. Myself included, by the way, Putkodi, we don't have running water. And the president was there 7 kilometers away from home. And then he went to the media and then said that people have been provided water, which is not true. I can attest to that. So what these old ladies are saying then, in fact, it sends wrong signals to the ANC, more especially because we've been working on the assumption that most of the elderly people believe in the ANC as the liberator, and therefore they will vote for the party no matter what. Now, if you hear elderly people saying what the two ladies are saying, they are representing many others, by the way. So then if you hear the elderly people saying what they say, and you juxtapose that with the youth does not care which party liberated us. All they care about is the fact that unemployment rate has gone up by 0.9%, and then they are concerned about the fact that they go to universities, they get their qualifications, but they can't get employed. And then people who are connected are the ones who get employed. They assess the ANC and any other political party based on their day-to-day activities, not the fact that the ANC is a liberation struggle. So if you are losing the elderly people, then of course it means that you are in for trouble.
Professor, it's difficult. It would be impossible, in fact, for us to try and synthesize everything that was spoken about by President Cyril Ramaphosa today at the launch of this manifesto. But if we just use the theme that they have chosen for this election manifesto, it takes me back to yesteryear, and I can say that with confidence because I've covered many of the ANC's manifesto launches. A better life for all is yet again the promise. There you go. You're standing in the way of me getting this question out of my chest because you're laughing. They're promising a better life for all. We've heard it before. Can you tell us whether you have heard anything new that has come out of this election manifesto, or has the ANC sadly run out of ideas?
Because the reason why I'm laughing, I'm reminded of a book I learned when I started at high school. It's called Animal Farm by George Orwell, which says all animals are equal, but some are more equal than others. So this better life for all, I think it's better life for some in reality. Yeah. So it's a better life for all, but some are getting a better life than the rest. So that is basically what is happening. If you look at the manifesto and the things that the president has been promising, which he says, by the way, it's not his own words, but it's a manifesto coming from the executive of the ANC. And then he says that it was crafted taking the views of many South Africans. The approach is okay, but then the reality is that this manifesto will not be implemented. I've been talking to some of your colleagues even earlier saying that I'm not a fan of manifestos. As a matter of fact, I even penned a journal article where I was saying that manifestos never win elections. And I was basing that on the fact that there are people who vote for political parties having not read even just one word, not one sentence, one paragraph, one word of the manifesto. Some having not even seen it, but they still vote for the party anyway. So the fact that you craft a manifesto where they are reducing a 10-point plan to 6-point plan, it just doesn't matter. People are concerned about the reality on the ground. After all is said and done, are we going to see any change? If you have promised us a better life for all, what is going to change this time around? Those are the questions people are asking. We heard the president saying that they are going to implement a new policy now that you must have people who are qualified for positions, and then you appoint them in those positions. Have we not heard about that before? The answer is we have. Yeah. And then has that been implemented? The answer is an emphatic no. So on that score, then I would say that the promises are there. The language was good. Everything looked fine. But then comes implementation, nothing is going to change.
Well, you actually are leading this conversation to exactly where I wanted us to end, because they had promised if there was something new that they were going to do differently this time, it would have been the announcement of their mayoral candidates, particularly in big metros. And that was meant to happen yesterday. And that has since been reversed. Instead, you have a presentation of about 3 candidates per metro, and at some point, people will finally know who the final candidate is. What does that tell us about the workings behind the scenes? Is there some kind of struggle? Are there faction fights? the ANC is known for factional fighting. Why is it that they reversed this decision at the last minute? Are they fearful of something?
I like your question, because by the way, it's not the first time that the ANC has made a decision and then rescinded it in a few minutes later. You recall that as far back as the 14th of May, we're made to believe that by June they would have announced their mayoral candidates. That did not happen. And then there was an announcement that they were going to announce their mayoral candidates, like we've just said, just before they launched the manifesto, which was supposed to be yesterday. And then instead, a meeting was convened, and then we were told that they have decided that they will convene a meeting sometime next week, and then they will announce who the winners are. And to ensure that there is no friction or feud within the party, those who are not successful will be sent to the provincial legislatures, and some will be sent to the national legislature. Then ask yourself the question, are you going to send them there just to keep unity in the party, or are you going to send them there because you think they have the requisite skills and knowledge to represent the party well? So that then comes back to your question that the main reason why the ANC has been unable to announce these mayoral candidates is not because they want to do due diligence, but the reason is that they can't agree. In other words, there is disunity within the party as to who should be the mayoral candidate. And then as a result, they decided to hold it back until at a later stage. But eventually, they'll have to announce. It's just like postponing a funeral. If someone has passed on, eventually that person will have to be buried. Yeah. Whether on a Saturday or Sunday or Monday, it just doesn't matter. That is the situation the ANC finds itself in right now.
Zondo Commission. They found that the President of the Republic of South Africa was central to the task to destroy SARS. It's in black and white again, it's on the internet. Don't. Judge Zondo says, we found that the President of the Republic of South Africa made it his point to make sure that is part of the process of the attempt to destroy the South African Revenue Service. That doesn't make sense. You can't be President of South Africa without the revenues from SARS. But yet you're doing exactly the opposite. You are the president, but you destroy this institution which gives you the capacity to govern. The question must arise, who is this person?
They answered Cyril Ramaphosa's question that he asked so well. Corruption, 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 corruption. A whole lot of corruption happening in one political party is ridiculous. But here we have, so I want to show you something really important. This is the exact same political party that will rock up with their BMWs, Mercedes-Benz, and Porsches at a photo op. And y'all must have thought I was crazy when I said that in a video like 2 episodes ago. But this is actually what they do. So this political party that is begging you for your vote is promising you a better future. But let me give you a glimpse of the present and what the future can continually look like when you vote for the ANC party.
Open! Yay! Yay!
So there we go.
ANC ngiyayizonda man, and izinto ezifana nezi zezinye ezivele zindenze ndiyizonde kakhulu kunye naba bantu abayivotelayo iwesi aba abazimpula zikalujaca abangafumani kwanto kwi-ANC kodwa babhizi bayayivotela. Jonga
Government says employment programs and investment initiatives have created opportunities. But critics say progress is too slow. Load shedding affected businesses and households for years. Although electricity supply has improved during some periods, families say electricity costs continue rising. Crime continues dominating headlines. Residents in many communities report concerns about armed robbery, gender-based violence, murder, car hijackings. Government has introduced crime-fighting operations, but many citizens want stronger results. Across several municipalities, residents have protested over water shortages, electricity interruptions, poor sanitation, housing delays, potholes. Many communities say promises have not translated into visible improvements. Poor infrastructure affects transport and businesses. Residents say roads need urgent repairs. Government says progress has been made through infrastructure investment, energy reforms, social grants, public employment programs, investment conferences attracting businesses. Officials argue reforms take time and some improvements are already visible. This remains part of an ongoing political debate. The ANC Manifesto promised transformation. Supporters say progress is happening. Critics say results are not enough. The biggest question remains, has the ANC delivered enough on its promises? Or do South Africans deserve faster change? Let us know respectfully in the comments. Do you believe Ramaphosa has delivered on the ANC Manifesto? Please share your thoughts in the comment section and don't forget to like, subscribe.